Welcome back to 10 News Conference. Our guest this morning, Erik Wallin, a Republican candidate for Attorney General. Being the chief law enforcement officer in the state, should you get elected, you've got more duties than just prosecuting crime. In 2007, the man you used to work for, Patrick Lynch, issued a legal opinion making Rhode Island a state that recognizes same-sex marriages from out of state, in particular, in this case, Massachusetts. Supreme Court later ruled that same-sex couples could not get divorced in this case. So let me ask you, if you're Attorney General, would you try to change that legal opinion that Rhode Island recognizes same-sex marriages in other states?
I would. I believe that this is an issue that has to be left for the legislature and the voters directly.
So you would revoke, or I don't know how you go about doing it, but you would cancel or negate that legal opinion?
I would.
You would. And do you know what effect that would, practical effect that would have?
Well, it's certainly going to result in people having to go back to the states that, in fact, they were married into to divorce.
Well, the Supreme Court seems to have already taken care of that aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
So gay marriage is not something you're in favor of?
I believe that marriage is, the term marriage is one that has a religious connotation. It's one that has a traditional connotation. I support that. I do, however, believe that we need that, I don't make a distinction between individuals who have a sexual preference other than, in terms of if they're homosexual or not. If you walk through Arlington Cemetery, you can't distinguish the individuals who were homosexual and served this country and the people who were straight and served this country. So I believe that in full legal rights, but I am not in favor of using the term marriage in relation to same-sex couples.
You'd like to see gay members of the military service then, or make it legal for acknowledged homosexuals to be in the military?
It's something I have no control over. I certainly served in the military as a captain in the Air Force JAG. I dealt with many cases, and I think that people exaggerate the seriousness of the issue. I mean, I represented individuals who I knew were homosexuals in the military, and they served no differently than anyone else. The don't ask, don't tell policy didn't seem to interfere, from my perspective, in the operation of the military, and again, that's something far beyond the reach of the Rhode Island Attorney General.
So back to the gay marriage. If somebody's married in Massachusetts, same-sex couple is married in Massachusetts, in Rhode Island, they should not receive the benefits of marriage?
Right, correct. I don't think we should be recognizing out-of-state marriages.
I want to go to another case. The guy you used to work for, Patrick Lynch, has been widely criticized for some of the handling of the station fire case. In particular, the West Warwick building inspector who was never prosecuted. I don't know anything about statute of limitations. If you become Attorney General, is there a possibility of reopening that case, and if there is, would you?
Certainly, I've been in touch with, for example, David Kane, who was his son was the youngest person lost in the station nightclub fire. I've agreed to sit down with him after this election and not before then, because I don't believe that inserting the station nightclub fire into politics is at this point productive. It's something I would look at. It certainly is a painful part of Rhode Island's history. And I don't want to involve that in this race and further inflame what's going on. But it's, from my opinion, I'm willing to look and speak to anybody who has information, and certainly don't have a closed mind to looking at that case as well as others.
Having worked in that office, what changes would you make in the office?
Sure. There is a tremendous opportunity, I think, in that office to better utilize both the people and the resources that it has. It has over a $24 million budget. There's 231 employees in that office. 98 of them are prosecutors, criminal prosecutors, and we have 128 attorneys, so that leaves the balance in the civil division. One place I actually just recently visited, Vibeco, which is a manufacturing plant down in Wyoming, Rhode Island. It's a leader in what they call lean systems. This is a manufacturing process, but it's applied also to other work and office work. And they take a look at everything that someone does in the workplace and takes a real different perspective on how we can save time. For example, simply by moving a copier could save, over the course of a year, somebody walking as many as 70 miles. And that was an example. They moved a table down there and saved a 70-mile walk that a person was making repeatedly. So there are tremendous opportunities when you look to the private sector to, in fact, make more efficient the Attorney General's office. I would use the resources that I save to, first of all, establish a public corruption unit in that office so that we would have seasoned prosecutors as well as a 24-hour tip line to take advantage, quite frankly, of the opportunities that many of the investigative reporters have. That people are calling television stations, news stations, radio stations, as opposed to the Attorney General's office. And that would be an opportunity, I think, for us to further crack down on the public corruption in this state. And that's how I would get about utilizing those resources, because I don't think people in Rhode Island should pay twice for the corruption. So I'm not going to be looking to get more money to hire more people.
We've got to take another break. Our guest today, Erik Wallin, Republican candidate for Attorney General. 10 News Conference will continue right after this. You can watch this program again on our website, turnto10.com, or download the 10 News Conference podcast and watch on the go. Use the keywords 10 News Conference. Welcome back to